Have you ever wondered what makes bodies tick? Are you creating the sexual reality you desire and require? Would you like to know more about what else is possible with bodies? What if your fantasies are not as strange as you thought they were? What if you could learn to be kinder to your body and kinder to others' bodies? Would you like to create confidence in the bedroom and beyond? How has your sex life or lack of it affected other areas of your life? Have you lost your mojo and wondered where to find it? Everyone has the potency to be a sexual superhero. Get ready to listen, sense, and play with the sexualness that is you. Now, here is the host of The Pleasure Zone, Body Whisperer, Milica Jelenic.
Hi everyone, sorry about that. Welcome to The Pleasure Zone. I'm your host, Milica Jelenic. We're just dealing with some technical difficulties with our guest right now, so she will be on with us likely. Otherwise, I'm inventing. Again, I'll be inventing this entire show by myself on the topic of pleasure of really living. So that'll be fun and interesting if my guest can't actually get on here. So today, the topic actually came up. I'm actually co-hosting Cass Thomas with Christine McIver, and I are co-hosting her in Toronto for a 3-day body class. And one of my fun adventures of last week was to go through like a massive list of people across Canada and introduce myself to them and let them know that this class is taking place. And in my adventures of introducing myself, I came across a woman named Donna Porteous. And she was actually quite interesting to me. We had a really cool conversation via Facebook. And she is creating things, Access is outside the box, and she's outside the box. So she's like creating things that are even, outside of that, which is really cool. So she intrigued me. And so my conversation with her just kind of led to the idea of having her on the show. She has a really interesting life to me. And so I thought, let's have Donna on the show and talk about what how she's creating her life and what she's creating in her life. She's a health and lifestyle coach. She calls herself a metaphysician, body, mind, heart, and soul. She offers private consultations for people, retreats, and seminars. She lives and shares practical wisdom and everyday magic. And together with her practical luxury lifestyle, which I love that terminology, luxury lifestyle, and freewheeling, flowing points of views, Donna certainly celebrates hacking life with ease, joy, and glory. I love these terms like hacking life and the luxury lifestyle. When we were talking on the phone, there was this, she did bring up the luxury lifestyle, and everything about that seemed really, really freaking delicious to me. The whole idea of choosing that for myself, a luxury lifestyle. For most of my life, I had a very frugal lifestyle. I've been trained to think wisely financially, be really prudent with money, be really cautious with money. And it's really funny because just in the last 24 hours, the number of fun luxury items that have shown up in my life is really funny, actually. I just got this like phenomenal, awesome barbecue. Like these things to me bring me such crazy pleasure that it's hilarious. Got a barbecue that turned me on. I got a clothesline. I was so excited. I was like practically, I won't even get into the details, but it was so freaking exciting for me to have this clothesline hung up. And I love watching laundry on the line. So for me, that was like an amazing pleasure to get this clothesline up this week. So for you, like what brings you pleasure? It can be some really simple things, right? And so, I'd like to now bring Donna on, and can we hear Donna?
Yeah, I'm here.
Awesome. Hi, Donna. Just making
How are
sure
you?
we got our sound going. I'm good. So when we were talking on the phone last week about like what you're creating in your life, it just intrigued me about, all the different modalities you've taken and all the different things that you create, you're creating in your life and that you're choosing, and that how your life is showing up. So I gave them the little intro on you, but can you let people know,
Thank you.
some of the cool stuff you're actually doing with your life.
Okay, well, it's really cool being here and talking to Milica and how it happened in the first place and everybody who's showing up to participate. And the first thing you did was choice, right?
Yeah.
You had to choose. And so you can choose from your limited experiences, or you can choose from your imagination. So what makes your imagination expand? And go do that. Is it reading a book? Is it looking at a magazine? Is it listening to a speaker? Is it watching a travel show? What gets your imagination expanding and excited? Now, you were excited about your clothesline.
Yeah.
The universe doesn't know the difference between your clothesline, watching the wind blow it, and you standing on top of Mount Everest. It just feels that excitement and that pure pleasure and that pure joy. That's it.
Yeah, isn't that the coolest thing? So those, like, when people talk about, finding the simple things and having gratitude for them, how gratitude can expand your life so tremendously. I was so incredibly grateful for line. I've actually desired, strangely intensely desired having a clothesline for years. And I don't know what it was. It was like I had all these things put in the way. I don't have the right size drill. I need a man to put it on. I actually did all the electrical in my entire house, but I believed I needed a man to drill a hole into a post for me. Isn't that freaking hilarious? Because I've been waiting for years.
That is the point of view. And you know
right?
what? The thing is, nothing is right or wrong or good or bad. Is that point of view serving you in the highest and best way now? And are things coming to you, and are you experiencing them with ease, joy, and glory? A lot of people are running around looking for their purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I've always believed that the purpose was to express your joy and your creativity. That may very well show up as a career or a life purpose, but not necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
So start choosing what brings you joy, what's playful, what's fun. And, for years, I didn't know what that was. I was never taught to dream. And that's not a right thing or a bad thing or a good thing. I just didn't know that I had that luxury. So what I learned from a sales sign that was selling homes was to incorporate practical luxury into my lifestyle. And I started saying, well, what do I want for life? And you can say, I want a car, I want a house, I want this, I want that. And I ended up with all those amazing things, but I didn't feel so great when I got them. I was living the North American dream, and I was like, really? At 28, this is it? I was so bored silly. It was pathetic. When I realized that, my life changed. I had 3 strokes, I got really sick, I made different choices. And from that point on in 1996, everything just started to expand. So when you ask the question and you allow the answer to show up, you don't go hunting for it, you just let it show up, you'll have so many choices in front of you, you won't know which way to go first. And the really cool thing is, you never have to choose one. You can have them all. So I always suggest to go, yeah, exactly. You have 2 hands, so don't ask for 1 cookie, The really cool thing is make a bucket list. And I have a girlfriend that calls it a fucket list because she never had the cash. She calls it the fuck. She now owns the result in Bimini. But anyways, she wrote this list up of everything that she desired to have. She had no cash left. And the list came true. So she just calls it that, and she keeps her running bucket list all the time. I started creating a bucket list back in about 1997, and I kept it in the back of my kitchen door where my spices were because that was the door that I went to most often. And I had pages of bucket list items there, and some were little, some were huge, some were so big that I couldn't even imagine encapsulating them and doing them, but they all happened. You know what? They happened in 3 years, and I had to make more lists. That was my lifetime bucket list.
The funny thing about lists, right? We did them, and then we require more lists. I like more lists, please. That line. That line was on my mental list for so long, and a barbecue on my list for so long. It was really fun. It was just wow, I'm choosing things that are actually bring me fun. And they expand my life. They're actually making things more creative for it's actually expanded my creativity because now I'm wow, now I can cook it. What can I cook on a barbecue that I've never cooked on a barbecue? It's been really funny. I'm, although I've cooked on other people's barbecues, somehow cooking on mine has become much more creative and interesting.
Of course, because it's yours.
Yes, that's right. So that's all been really funny, just watching even in the last like little while, how I'm choosing things that are, they might have, yeah, for me, they were somehow roadblocks in my life before. Like I was putting up a lot of things to not choose them. And then as I started to choose them, all the little components that were required to, allow them to actually be actualized start to show up. So for me, that's the beauty of it, is like things start to actualize when you just say, yes, universe, I'm choosing this. And you take that like one step, even to that one action, and how everything conspires to just allow that to show up. I freaking love it.
It's really easy. Now, while you're barbecuing or while you're hanging your clothes out on that line, you're in a state of pleasure.
Yeah.
If you can start daydreaming about your other goals while you're in that state of pleasure, your other goals happen easier, faster, and lighter and more joyful and bigger, because you're already in that vibration. We're saltwater acoustical magnetic beings. We're bioelectric by function, and we run on salt water. So our whole system of our dreams, our physical body, our mental, our emotions, all work together in a component. But the moment you put yourself in gratitude or appreciation or fun or play or lighter vibration, the universe is reading that, and it says, oh, you like that vibration of 500 megahertz or more. Let's match that. Let's match that. Let's match that. It's the best personal assistant you could have. It doesn't decide what's right or wrong or good or bad for you. It just says, I'm going to match you. I'm going to match you. I'm going to match you. And it does it, what, every 10 seconds?
Yeah, at least, right? Milliseconds. Yeah. It's fast, right?
So it's really, really fast. And those things can show up in your lives as synchronicities, coincidences, people, places, things, and events, and objects like barbecues and clotheslines. People can deliver things to you.
Yeah.
You can get things free. So let's talk about money, because lately I have heard so much talk about money. I'm like, oh my goodness. Let's blow the lid off of that.
I love that. Actually, the same, as I was writing to you that day, I'd written to probably 80 people in 2 days, and a lot of people's response to me was, it was about the money. So yeah, let's blow the lid off the freaking money, because that's often not it. Like, I've received so many things like designer boots that were like $800 for free. You don't require money to receive luxury items. And that's what I liked about your thing about luxury lifestyle and practical luxury. Like, there is a practicality to choosing luxury too. My body like really enjoys it.
Who doesn't like to go down south? Who doesn't want to live by the palm trees? Who doesn't want to drive a Ferrari or a nice Ford truck? Not that I'm a Ford girl, but anyways, who wants to do that? The thing is, practical luxury, you can decide to want to live a vacation lifestyle. That's what I chose back in 2008. That's what was on my mind, living a vacation lifestyle with peace, joy, and glory. So
that's great.
Do you need an income to do that? Absolutely not. Things will fall into your lap, people, places, things, and events, and all you have to do is say yes. But first, you have to have the dream or the thought or the vision. And it's not asking you to find out how you're going to do that or when you're going to do that. Our job is to stay in our imagination, and I like to call it imagineering. Disney called it that as well.
Yeah, they did.
And just stay fantasizing about that goal and dream and how you're feeling in it. Because it's your feelings that the universe responds to, not necessarily your words. You can say a really sad word in a really happy way. And if you feel the happiness when you're saying it, that's what's going to be matched, not the word.
The vibration behind it, yeah.
The vibration, the intention behind it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, money. Let's talk about money. Who needs a house? Who wants a down payment for it? Don't think about the down payment. Think about living in the house. Go on a house tour. Go through the house. Sit in the tub, pretending you're having a bath. Go sit at the table, pretend you're having dinner. Stand at the stove and pretend you're cooking. That's how you get things. Pretend. The universe doesn't know the difference between actuality and pretend. It's the same vibration. So I used to go and coach people on how to transform their business, and they say, I have no money, right? I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't get my business cards. That word can't, you should just take it out of your vocabulary. In fact, the words don't, not, no, can't, and never, stop saying them. Okay. So I used to teach people, go on the computer and make mock-ups. Make a mock-up of your business card, a mock-up of your brochure, a mock-up of your website. You will get so darn excited that all of a sudden the people, places, things, and events will stumble into your life that will support you to do that.
For sure. I've created many mock-ups in my life just that it's fun for me, and I wasn't even aware I was creating them. It's just like, hey, at some point I created something and I was, I can actually use this. Oh, cool. As I was creating these things that I thought were just like for fun or not really something I was going to use, I ended up utilizing most of them. And that thing you were talking about, the houses, since I was probably a teenager, when I could drive, when I got my, when I could borrow the car and drive, I would go to houses that were like open houses, and I would do just what you said. Like, I would go into their room, I would go into the house, I'd like lie on the floor, I'd see if there was enough room, I'd check out the kitchen, like how would I cook in it, like all of it. I would fake living there for like 4 hours. Me and my friend, we would go fake live in houses, and they were luxury. These were like so this was like 1990, and these were like luxury houses that were $2 million at the time, probably 10 now. And we would just go fake live in them for hours. It was incredibly fun.
So now you have the feeling of what it's like to be in that house.
Yeah.
And when you have that feeling at a cellular level, you're vibrating that joy and excitement and that memory every 10 seconds or every nanosecond of your day. The universe is reading it every 10 seconds, and then it brings it to you through the feeling. So if you want a new vehicle, go test drive the vehicle often. Go to every dealership, test drive it. See what it feels like to sit behind that wheel and drive that vehicle. Maybe ask for it over the weekend. I did that once, and you know what? They said I could have it.
How fun is that, right? Like, to think outside the box that way. Just like, hey, would you like to try it? Yes, I would. Can I, please? And and they allow you to. The beauty is like you don't have to buy into the way everybody else is doing it. What works for you? And what can you even create beyond that? So you've got the imagination, and it's like, wow. So I had the imagination, in my teens, put this like sensation in a home, and then what I've now created and what will I create in the future is like super expansive. But I've actually created a home that's super caring, loving, nurturing, and I live in a forest. It's like super nurturing to my body and being. And when I hadn't even had that as a concept of something that I could have, although I kept on driving into forests as well. I just loved driving into nature. So that was part of my vibration too, that brought me joy. And so that's how I created it. We actually have a caller that is just listening for now. So if they do choose to call in and ask questions, they will. Or if they choose to jump on and ask a question, they're more than welcome to. So I love that. There is that ease with it. There's so much ease creating. It's like if you're not familiar with what does it feel like to have $500 of cash just like in your pocket all the time, are you willing to go get $500 of cash and put it in your pocket to have that familiarity? Yeah.
Are you willing to ask? Okay, so I helped somebody buy a luxury piece of property once, and they had no money. Zip. Mm-hmm. They were young enough that they did not have an income, like a substantial T4 at the end of the year. So they went about building a business proposal for the piece of property that they wanted, and I helped them do it. And they went for, 10, 12 meetings to get backing. And just as the deal was supposed to close, the door would slam, and the answer would be no. No doesn't mean stop. No means go to the other window. That's it. Eventually,
ask another question.
Ask another question. Just keep going. So I said, where do I need to go? Do I need to do something for this? And then I was just quiet, went about my day, and I heard the answer the next morning. I got up, I picked the phone. I called a person that I knew, and I just ran it by them. And you know what? They gave them close to $100,000 in cash. And away they went.
Better than that, right? And so those
How does it get better than that?
So ask the questions. If awareness comes up, follow it. The thing is, Donna, you followed through. A lot of people will get the awareness and they won't do the follow through. So really the follow through when you have an awareness is really key. Like follow through on what your knowing is telling you. And you'll create you can't even imagine what you'll create. So we're going to go to break in 20 seconds. And when we come back, we're going to talk more about creating a phenomenal, pleasurable lifestyle that you didn't even know how much ease you could have with creating this.
Exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Many of us have created a lot of limitations around sex and what we are willing to choose. Would you be willing to explore what has already been introduced as sexual practices on this planet? What else is possible beyond what we have already seen, heard, or thought of? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual revolution? Taking the taboo out of all aspects of sex, sexuality, and copulation. By tuning into the Pleasure Zone radio show with body whisperer Milica Jelenic, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life, and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for The Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on a2zen.fm.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that, when run, assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
What does optimal cell health mean, and how can you create it? Pulsed electromagnetic field therapy by Swiss Bionics can improve your well-being in every area of your life. The PEMF mat stimulates cells to move and create space between cells for optimal cell function. How does it get better than that? Use 2 to 3 times per day for 8 minutes will improve circulation and immune function. Cell metabolism and repair begins, and mobility also will increase. Do you desire better health? If you're interested or would like a session, call 613-473-3805 or in Toronto. Call or text 416-253-1617. Monthly rentals start at only $300 per month. Is now the time to choose optimal cell health? What does
This is the Pleasure Zone with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, please call us in the U.S. Call 815-880-8255-TALK or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at a2zen.fm. You can also make the choice to ask for comment by email by sending to Milica at milicajelenic.com. Now, back to the program.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Pleasure Zone. I'm your host, Milica Jelenic, and my guest today is Donna Porteous. And we're talking about pleasurable living and lifestyles. And she uses some phrases like luxury lifestyle, and I really love these kind of terms that we've been playing with today, because there's so much in my life that I've been choosing to, I would call it like upgrade to the luxury lifestyle, which for me includes like things that feel good. They look good, they make me happy, they bring me joy, and then that just expands to everybody else. So when I was playing really small and little and kind of pathetic in my life, I wasn't creating like anything that would bring like a sense of luxury and yumminess to my life. A lot of it was really like contracted and kind of sad. And so now, like, I've chosen a lot different, and I keep choosing more, and I keep choosing different. And the more I'm choosing joy, and the more that shows up, the more actually luxury kind of comes in hand with that. So Donna's changed her life dynamically in the last, throughout her whole life, and especially in the last like 7 years, right? Your life is
Exactly.
like completely different. So when we went to break, we were talking about how vibration matches vibration, and universe doesn't really care what it is. It's going to match your vibration. So if you're playing small and pathetic and you're like, oh, I'm so little and pathetic, the universe is like, okay, If that's what you're choosing, that's what you're choosing, and I'll match that for you. I'll give you that too, because that's what you're playing. So are you willing to play way bigger in your life and choose more? And so Donna's been giving some tools today. If you guys haven't picked up on what some of the tools are, she's talking about like going to places that you really love, like homes, and testing out that car that really turns you on. Like, these are tools to actually create in your life. These are not even complicated, right? They're sometimes so simple, they just seem to kind of like, as if they kind of just pass you, right? So these are actually tools. And so what would you like in your life? Are you willing to be in the energy of it? Would you be willing to experience it? Would you be willing to ask people, right? You were saying, like, ask people, to invite them in and ask them, are you willing to contribute to my life? Are you willing to like participate with me, to like the people who came to about the house and then you found them the person that could bring them the $100,000? Amazing.
Exactly. And there's so much more you can do. So people say, well, I can't go here, I can't go there, I can't do this, I don't have the money. It's not about the money. I wanted to go live in Europe for a while, and I certainly did not have the cash at that time. So what I started doing is watching every movie I could get my hands on that had some aspect of Europe in it. So Under the Tuscan Sun, Before Midnight, After Dawn, all those kind of movies. And I watched like sometimes 5-7 movies in a day for a couple of weeks straight. Well, guess where I ended up? I wanted to go to Europe. I had a friend call me and said, look, I really want to host you at a workshop. Would you start doing them? And I said, yeah, sure I will. Well, I needed $1,500 for my plane ticket, and guess how much the seminar brought? $1,500.
How does it get better than
out of
that,
that
right?
seminar, how does it get better than that? Out of that, I got a few clients, which converted to 750 euros. So I booked my plane ticket. I had 750 euros in my pocket, which was probably about maybe $1,000 Canadian funds. And off I went to Europe, and that's all I had. Landed in the city, marketed myself through meetup.com, and I worked through France, Italy, and Spain doing that. I made so much cash there. It was amazing. I taught, I coached, I did healing work with my hands, which is another topic we can do. We are so powerful, we have no idea. We're just talking about manifesting things right now, but you can actually fix broken arms, broken ankles.
Absolutely.
With your hands.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's magic. Like it's molecules we're playing with, energy. Like we all have that capacity. Some people have a greater ability, but we all have the capacity to heal our bodies. It's like a natural instinct, right? You fall, your knee gets scraped. You're like, as a kid, your hand goes on your knee. It's like an automatic reflex to heal yourself.
The thing is, don't notice it, okay? The worst thing you could do is go, because the moment you notice that, you've crystallized the thought of fear. Oh my goodness, there's something wrong, or I hurt myself. When you crystallize a feeling, it becomes a thought, becomes an action, becomes results. Cover up. I can't tell you how many people have come to me and I've just whacked my hands on them and boom, no longer a problem. There was a gentleman in Europe who came to me for some coaching, and he said, I fell off a ladder 7 years ago in construction and I broke my ankle and it hasn't been well since. And I'm a runner. I'm a marathon runner, and I can't do it anymore. I said, that's okay. What would you rather have? So there's a key question. If you don't like what you have to say, what would I rather like? You have 14 seconds to look at what you don't like, but then you've got to switch it around ASAP. So he said, well, I'd rather be running. I'd rather be doing my marathon. I'd rather put my running shoes and run home. I said, okay. So he put his foot up on my leg. I put my hands over it, and I just focused. It was like focused thought. And it doesn't require a lot of effort on my part. He goes, what are you doing? I said, I'm not really sure, but let's see what I'm doing, how much it's going to buy you. That's my approach to everything. I'm not responsible for anything, right, wrong, good, or bad. I just participate. So I did that, maybe 10 minutes. I put his foot down. He goes, feels good. He gets up, he starts jumping on his broken ankle, which he had been seeing for a chiropractor for 3 months. No results. So he puts on his sandal with his work sock on it, and he runs down the beach 5 kilometers to his sailboat because he was staying on the sailboat for the year. He texts me. He goes, I haven't run since I broke my ankle. I ran all the way home. He goes, I'm coming back to see you tomorrow. So he jogs all the way back, another 5, to get my work done. I can do
really
this.
Cool,
you
right?
can do this. I know.
And bodies are just like there's this thing about bodies and energy that it's like and I've been doing energy work for about 20 years, and bodies, they talk to me a lot, and they talk to all of us. It's just that I like listen. So are you willing to listen to people's bodies? Are you willing to listen to your own body? That's one of those things, is like when you listen, and then you can be whatever's required to create the change that's desired or required. There's so much ease in being that space that it's like effortless, right? So for people who I could never do that, it's too hard, blah blah blah. It's actually really not at all. Would you just be willing to like show up? That's like, hi, can you show up? Awesome.
I find it easy not to claim responsibility for anything. Not that I'm irresponsible, but I don't want to put myself in a position where I'm responsible for something, because that means I've bought into a mindset. And I would just as soon live a little bit freer than that. I believe that freedom is oxygen for my soul. So I'll always make that choice. Whatever is done with ease, joy, and glory. So you can do so much. You can play with energy. You can play with molecules. You can play with money. You can play with everything. You can play with the weather. It's all the same thing. There's no different. It's just space and energy. Just like we are. We're energy. We're light. Okay? We have a physical body. I can see it because the molecules are slowing down slow enough that my physical eye can see it. But a lot of us now can see the body around the body and through the body, because we're adapting new abilities to do that. So we can do a little bit more and have a little bit more fun and play a lot more. And when you're listening and you're being observant, you get to see and learn a whole lot more and apply it. It's really, really simple.
Absolutely.
We're all physical beings, so we need some type of nourishment, right? I've learned that the physical body, through a doctor that I work with, Dr. Robert Young, that we run on something called cows, not the ones that go moo. Cows. Okay. Chlorophyll, oil, water, sea salt, and sunshine. Basically, it's all electron rich. Our endocrine system, which is a saltwater crystal system that flows through our body, and it goes through the brain, picks up messages, decodes the messages, and then delivers it to the different major glands in the body. The really cool thing is that wherever there is a major gland, there is also a major chakra system, an energy vortex, which is a Sanskrit word, right? Chakra. Yeah. So this liquid saltwater crystal system called the endocrine system kind of links our physical body, our spiritual body, our emotional body, and our mental body all together. And you know what it lives on? Salt.
No, I love salt.
Salt. But, I mean, not all salt is created equal. Sea salt, colored sea salt, nothing bleak. So the pinks and the grays and the Hawaiian salts that are black and red and green, that energizes the body, as does green vegetables, because they're full of electrons. We run on electrons, not calories, not proteins, not carbs. So if you want to increase the light in your body and increase your capabilities and your energy and so forth, maybe start feeding it a lighter vibration.
Yeah, and
start vibrating.
And some bodies just have always asked for that. You know, they've just born asking for, you know. So, you know, if you're raising kids right now and your kids' bodies are asking for a different diet than you're eating, like, please honor them, listen to their bodies, and instead of assuming that they require dairy because the food groups say so, just listen to their bodies, and their bodies will tell you what they require. Like my daughter, I nursed her till she was 4. And I mean, she had other food too, but she mostly was nursed for 4 years. So like a lot of us, I know that sounds like a long time, but there's actually like world averages that are way higher. So, but I listened to her body, and that's what her body asked for. And then there was a point where her body just said, okay, I'm done. And I was like, oh, okay. And it was like 3 weeks before she turned 4. I could have gone with the assumption of your 6 months are up, now you're off my boob, because they told me that's all you required, because that's what some book said. Or I can listen to your body and give you what your body's asking for, which, you know. So what if like your bodies are so aware, and the more that you're willing to listen to them, the more information you get, right? The more, and then it comes to a place where sometimes your body is sometimes my body for a few days is just like, thanks for the water. That's all I've been asking for. I'm like, okay, cool. You get water, 3 days in a row. Here's some lemon.
It's
Enjoy.
amazing.
Yeah, right?
It's very, very simple.
Yeah, it's really simple, and we complicate it a lot by rules. Rules, and we create these funny things where if you don't quite do it this certain way, it's going to be a disaster. But we know, we have an innate knowing, but what's going to actually create in our lives, for our lives, and for ourselves, and create health for us. We just have this innate knowing. We've just ignored it. So would we all be willing to acknowledge how freaking amazing and miraculous we all are, that we can actually create wondrous, amazing things that people would call miracles, and they're really choices to create more. We just create more.
Okay, so everywhere that we're all not allowing that to happen for us with ease, joy, and glory, starting right now, would we all be willing to uncreate and destroy all those ways that we're harboring that? Times a gazillion? Yeah, I would be. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine shorts, pod, boys, and beyond. I suggest you all go buy a wizard stick or a wand or a Merlin hat and start getting used to the power and own it. And if it takes you holding a wand or a crown or a wizard hat, do that, because you're very powerful and you can change and shift energy right in front of you.
I have many wands. Actually, when the first bars class I did, I think it was Foundation Level 1, my daughter was about 3 and came into the room. And the facilitator had said, Pock and Pod is like the magic wand to clear stuff. And my daughter came in with this beautiful crystal wand that I had given her for Christmas. And she's waving it around. And she's clearing for everybody. And she's like, well, I can use this too. And it was a riot. Everybody's like, fuck yeah, I want a wand. I need to get me a wand.
It's just a wand, but it'll enable you to tap into your source energy. And when you think about that, I want you to go back to history, okay? And not that I'm a history buff or a religious buff or anything, but you look at the word, and I'm just going to pop back to the word salt because it's going to come to the word life eventually. Mm-hmm. Salt, code name for it is Sol, S-O-L. Mm-hmm. And S-O-L is also another word for soul, S-O-U-L. The soul is energy. Energy is light. We know that, quantum physics. And light is life, and life is salt. Salt conducts electricity.
Cool,
so when you start to when you start to get these firings going off in your head and in your body and in your mind, your awareness starts to open up, your consciousness starts to open up, and you have aha moments, and you have the zest for life, and you have your dream come alive, and you have the power and all the tools to go after it. Otherwise, we could just be sleepwalking and walking around with our eyes half closed and our mind shut. And we're not living our dreams, and we're not experiencing joy. And I mean, really, it's a choice. What kind of quality of life do you want? Do you want to be enslaved by habits that serve you highest and best way? Because we're going to make habits. It's the way we are, right? But the thing is to keep the habits rolling. Don't get stuck up on one habit. Be open enough to be flowing with them.
Yeah, and then you can also acknowledge the habit and go, okay, this is a habit, and now I can create it as choice. I can unchoose it when I'd like to unchoose it, and I can choose it when I'd like to choose it. I had an awful lot of habits, and it was until I started to look at it and go, oh, I actually have choice. This is really cool. I could still choose to grab people's bums because this is fun for me, or I have choice in this. I don't have to be compelled to it like some kind of insatiable monster. I can actually just choose this or unchoose it. Very cool. So that was a really amazing moment for me that I was like, wow, I have choice. We all have choice, and choice is the most dynamic magic on the freaking planet. Once we start to actually choose and have action, that's magic.
It's pure magic. It's light, it's energy, it's fun, it's playful. You can choose anything, and if you need to look at someone or somebody else's life to be inspired, do that. Here's a question. Somebody drives by you in a really awesome Porsche. Do you turn around and say, fucking bitch, look at that? Or do you say, oh my God, look at her go, I want that car?
Yeah, I want to know her, and I want to be in that car.
Yeah. Which one do you want to own? Do you want to admire the car and have the appreciation for it, or do you want to take the approach that, grr? And, I hear this on a regular daily basis when people come for coaching. I'll say, don't diss what you want, because you're not going to get it.
No,
you have to be willing.
Choosing those friends and those people. When we come back from break, we're going to talk more about choosing all the things that would actually create more in your life.
Many of us have created a lot of limitations around sex and what we are willing to choose. Would you be willing to explore what has already been introduced as sexual practices on this planet? What else is possible beyond what we have already seen, heard, or thought of? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual revolution? Taking the taboo out of all aspects of sex, sexuality, and copulation. By tuning into the Pleasure Zone radio show with body whisperer Milica Jelenic, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life, and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for The Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on a2zen.fm.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that when run assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
What does optimal cell health mean, and how can you create it? Pulsed electromagnetic field therapy by Swiss Bionics can improve your well-being in every area of your life. The PEMF mat stimulates cells to move and create space between cells for optimal cell function. How does it get better than that? Use 2 to 3 times per day for 8 minutes will improve circulation and immune function. Cell metabolism and repair begins, and mobility also will increase. Do you desire better health? If you're interested or would like a session, call 613-473-3805 or in Toronto. Call or text 416-253-1617. Monthly rentals start at only $300 per month. Is now the time to choose optimal cell health?
This is the Pleasure Zone with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, please call us in the U.S. Call 815-880-8255-TALK or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at a2zen.fm. You can also make the choice to ask for comment by email by sending to Milica at milicajelenic.com. Now, back to the program.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Pleasure Zone. I'm your host, Milica Jelenic, and tonight my guest is Donna Porteous, and we're talking about pleasurable lifestyles. And if you're just joining us now, you might want to listen to the replay of this. That's going to go up on Facebook, but it's also going to be in on iTunes, and you'll be able to find it on A to Zen in the archives, because there's a lot of information in the first half an hour, especially about different tools you can use to start to create the life you want. Really simple tools, right? So tapping, actually going to the things that actually excite you. So if you know what excites you and you've been avoiding it, would you like to stop that? Can you start to choose the things that actually excite you and step to them, choose them, even if it's something little, like I was talking about my laundry line, something that may be so blah to somebody else, but this actually brings me immense joy watching my laundry. So if it's, if there's something that brings you joy and you're not choosing it, just would you stop that and maybe start to choose something that will bring you joy? It could be really that simple. So thank you, Donna, for joining us. Donna has created her life. Created her life not because of money. She's actually created her life based on joy. And Gary Douglas often he has a saying that money follows joy, not the other way around.
Absolutely. You have to have joy.
Yeah. And people love gifting it to you. It's like when you're happy, it's like really funny. When I'm having really amazing, joy-filled days, I have the most beautiful clients. I'm like so freaking lucky. The people who choose to work with me, I always feel so incredibly grateful and graced by them. And they have they just, I don't know, when I'm having a good day, they just like make my day even better and just give me like financial gifts or chocolates or like whatever. There's like, people are so awesome and people love, don't you? Like, I love bringing smiles to people and brightening their day and lightening their life up. And don't we all? And like, what if we could all receive a little more of that from everybody? Like, how much more pleasure would we have on the planet if we all would be willing to receive each other's contributions?
Right. And what if no action was required on your part?
That too, right? Just being.
Just being. What if by you filling yourself up with all the simple pleasures in life, all the overflow affects everything and everyone that you pass around? So you're literally leaving a trail of magic or sparkle dust and energy that's an overspill from you managing your own energy and expressing your own joy and creativity. You're not responsible for making somebody happy. You're not responsible for doing anything. Just by being the light that you are, you can have an effect on your environment, and that includes the weather.
Absolutely. So you've brought that up. That's the second time you've mentioned that, which is cool. And I've noticed that my daughter, a weather maker, she has been since she was little. She has this amazing capacity for weather to switch like according to what she desires. And it can be in a really localized area, like just over our house. And when she was a baby, it was amazing to watch her. She was really mad at me one day when I was doing a gardening job. And out of the blue, the skies were beautiful. It was a sunny day. Out of the blue, she started crying and screaming at me. And I was very aware she wanted me to leave the job. And the clouds came in, and just over the land that I was working on, downpours for like nonstop, insane downpours. So I got in the car and I drove away. And as I drove away, I looked in my rearview mirror, and it was only over that house there was mass rainstorm. And I got to my mom's, and and I got to my mom's, and my mom said, "Oh, looks like Ziva didn't want you gardening today." I'm like, "How do you know?" She said, "Only over their house is there a rain cloud." I'm like, "Huh. Okay, so I'm not the only one that noticed that my daughter's a weather maker." And so we all have capacities with weather. Some people have more abilities with it. She definitely has an amazing ability with weather. We were just talking about that tonight, actually, before we got on the show. Not with you, Donna, but I was talking to my apprentice about that, and she's also a weather maker. And she was saying that every time she comes to my house, it rains. She just knows it's going to. So she's like, "If you guys need rain, just send me to Milica's." I'm like, "You're so funny."
It's so key. And again, your imagination, your power of your imagination is key to cloud busting, changing the weather, and time warping, because you can time warp, you can, and let's use the word time and money. Let's take that out of our vocabulary and use space. So you have to, you want to go wakeboarding. This used to happen here, and the water would be rough. Mm-hmm. And they said, "Well, we really want to bring your mom because we want to show her you doing wakeboarding." And I'd say, yeah, I want to go. So we'd go out there, and it would be rough, and my daughter would look at me, and I'd say, okay, to myself. I would pretend taking a rolling pin in my imagination and rolling the water flat. And then after you do that, the key is to forget what you did and put your focus somewhere else. Once you do it, know that it's done. That's a really cool key and tool that you have to use. Within seconds, the water was perfectly flat, and they would just look at me. So it became a standing joke in our neighborhood. "Is your mom coming? The water's rough." So we would do stuff like that. And I continue to do it for other people and show them how to do it. What else can you do? Cloud busting to get your power up. You can look up at the sky and look at the cloud and imagine it doing something. I don't care. Shrinking in upon itself, expanding so that there's nothing left of it, that it's blue sky. Use your imagination. If you have to use a keyboard in front of you that you have to hit a delete button or copy and paste or transfer this file or whatever, as part of your imagination, do that, because your focus, your intention is moving energy. There's no difference between the cloud. There's no difference between the water or getting the truck or getting the house or going to Europe or whatever it is that you want. It's all energy and space. But when you think about time, you've bought into a concept, a man-made concept.
Yeah.
And time is one of the easiest things to warp and to play with because it's under the law of gravity. So all you have to do is, if you want more time in the morning, who doesn't need more time in the morning to do what they love, right? All you have to say is, the space between now and then, and your then could be getting into the car, your then could be arriving at work, but the time or the space is what you want to say, the space between now and then, I now command that it expand out to the longest possible time in the highest and best way for me. That's it. Literally,
absolutely.
That space.
And you can do it the opposite
expand.
if you want something to be like over quick, right? You can
faster.
shrink it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can have so much fun with these things. They're totally malleable. Totally malleable. It's actually the first time on the show we've talked about that. And I am aware that I have capacities with all of that. Like just very naturally have played with that all of my life. Like cloud busting, I have definitely been aware of that. And you know, playing with like the malleability of everything that we would look at as like from a clock's perspective of time. So, and I have awareness of time, like funny awareness of time. So, so what capacities, what other things can you play with that are, you know, that you can change? You know, you can change chairs. If they're uncomfortable, you can ask them to become more comfortable for you. You can ask shoes to become more comfortable. If there's like shoes that look beautiful and you're going, wow, those are fantastic, you know, and your body's like asking for them, you can ask them to be the size that's actually going to be comfortable for your foot. Just ask them to be comfortable for you. You can change and mutate anything and everything. It's like, this is like so different than what we normally talk about, but it's so true. And it can bring so much pleasure to your body. And I'm saying that because it's like, what else can you do with your body that you can actually create more and have more fun with and play with? I don't even know what happened to time. We literally did that thing with time today because it's like, God, we've got 2 minutes and 30 seconds left until the show is over. So I would like to give that over to you, Donna, so that you can like let people know how to get a hold of you. If they want to join you on any adventures or hire you to create adventures. Yeah, go ahead, yours.
Well, I welcome any calls. You can find me on Facebook, Donna.Porteous. You can email me, DonnaDPorteous@gmail.com. Whether you're looking for an improvement in health, vitality, energy, you want coaching in sports, you want coaching in life skills, you want to learn how to create magic for your own, you want to know about time warping, space travel, you can do all of that. It seems a little bit far-fetched right now, but it's really just physics. And all you have to do is match the vibration of that which you desire and spend your days in your imagination doing that in a happy place, in a pleasurable, appreciative state. And it's only before minutes or days or weeks before it arrives at your doorstep the way that you need it to for you to receive it. But the thing is, are you willing to receive it? Hopefully that's a resounding yes.
Yeah, it is. So, I'm like, yeah.
By all means, call me, text me, whatever it is that you need to do, get a hold of me. We'll work together. I have clients all over the world, Europe, North America, South America. It's a fun and easy life. You can make it as easy as you have. And here's the thing. What is your default? That's one question I want to leave you with. What is your default in life? Is life a struggle? Is it fun? My default is everything comes to me and I experience everything with ease, joy, and glory. How about you?
Yeah, that's actually where I've been choosing to operate from too. And everybody, thank you so much for listening tonight. Thank you for everybody who's been listening in the live room, who's been on, who has been just listening, and everybody who's been in the chat room. I'm super grateful for all your energy that you've been contributing to us and to the show today. And if you'd like to contact me too, you can contact me at www.milicajelenic.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you for choosing to listen to The Pleasure Zone. Milica Jelenic will return next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on a2zen.fm. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have the best week of your life by choosing to be turned on and